Young people maybe don't understand the word civics, not only because it's not in schools, but also because it's a funky word. What is civics? We have to have some words that are more passionate. When we talk about movement, when we talk about change, those are words. When we talk about hope, those are words that inspire us, right? Civics sounds like a class.
In 1971, the 26th Amendment lowered the voting age to 18. Since then, the supposed apathy and disengagement of young people has dominated headlines. Press Pass TV explores what civic education is and how it can create a more engaged future.
Civics, in my opinion, is anything having to do with the communities.
Civics is a code word for me for power. I think it's an outlet. It's a way of understanding that what we do in everyday life is part of the changes that we can create all around us.
It's about getting the community really actively involved. All right, it's about teaching what this great nation is about.
I feel it encourages people to really feel empowered in life. So, if we were to have a civics class that taught teens how to about different social movements.
Maybe it should be taught a little bit more and more about like the inside, what government does for us as the people, not really like what government means.
Is really a central function of our school system because we live in a democracy, and a democracy is only as strong as its citizen.
It's important because a lot of these students don't know how to advocate for themselves. So whether they're involved in the streets or not, advocating for themselves in court, or they're advocating for themselves in college.
Civics is that. It's taking responsibility for your life and everything that's around you, and doing something positive that creates change beyond your wildest dreams.
We are always hearing that times are changing, but the makeup of our public elected officials doesn't seem to bear out that fact.
I think we don't see more people of color running for office because there are barriers to running for office today, number one, and that's money, right? We don't have the backroom deals, and we don't have the political connections on a grand scale that like other people have.
A lot of times working with the city or federal governments and being disappointed by not getting resources and support.
In terms of visible leadership, anytime you're dealing with the media, it's very rarely that you hear a lot of positive stuff that goes on in communities or about people that are doing great things.
Like if I knew more about it and I knew what a city councilor did, maybe I would have interest in it.
Because if you see people in government that look like you're going to want to vote for them or be with them or support them, etc. And maybe it'll even inspire you to say, hey, I want to be like that woman.
The candidates aren't in those areas. They don't see these areas as a valuable resource, and a lot of it has to do with the nature of the population, that the population tends to be lower income, very diverse. So typically, if you think of the political context, they're not likely voters, so why try to engage people?
According to the Center for Information and Research on Civic Learning Engagements, students who report taking a civic class are more likely to vote and feel engaged and responsible to the civic process, up to and including running for elected office.
We want elected officials to pay attention to our youth even though they can't vote. So our youth have been involved in different press conferences and met a lot of the elected officials and speak to them and let them know what the issues are that most affect them.
I think a lot of candidates are now seeing the value of the diversity and hopefully are moving in. I think that we are seeing some positive progress in there, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
I think that it's really important that young people understand the power of change that they have. They have the energy, they have the stamina, and frankly, they understand more than anybody else what's at stake.
Basically, how civics education could really kind of resolve that problem. It's bringing the system to people that the system is ignoring, but also seeing that it doesn't, you don't have to be Martin Luther King to make a huge difference in your community. You can be, someone that just lives down the street.
When they're taught about it in school, if they're allowed to pre-register, this is one reason we're pushing the pre-registration bill so hard, they'll become engaged citizens and they'll take steps to make changes in their communities as they get older.
You want to learn how they run it and how you get in that position and how you help people, because in the end, the government's job is to protect the people. And if they aren't protecting the people, you have to know how they work and how you can make them better.
We all concluded that more involvement will make the system work better.